Hey everybody, we are back for another NHL first round playoff series review, and another series wrapped up in game 7 last night, and it was another upset with the Seattle Kraken. Their first ever year in the playoffs, only their second year of existence. They knock off the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche and are able to move on to round number 2, where they will take on the Dallas Stars. And we're going to get into it here, take a look at the series, talk about my 3 stars of the series, and a big congratulations to Seattle on pulling this off and moving on. So another series like the Bruins-Panthers, where the team that scored more goals overall in the series doesn't win the series. And this was a very low-scoring series overall. Ultimately, Colorado outscored Seattle 19-18 over the course of the 7 games. But much like Florida, Seattle scored and won when it mattered the most, especially squeaking out a 2-1 win in game number 7. All in all, though, you look at this very low-scoring series compared to a lot of the other ones that we've talked about recently. Boston, Florida was extremely high-scoring. LA and Edmonton was high-scoring. Tampa Bay and Toronto was high-scoring. This series, not so much. This was low-scoring, great goaltending, defensive hockey, and every goal really ended up mattering because there were so many close one-goal games in this series. Power plays, though, were not good. Just not a lot of production for either team on the man advantage. Seattle ends up 3 for 21 on the power play. And Colorado not much better at 2 for 18 on the power play over the course of the series. I really look at that as a win for Seattle. With the talent, just the pure talent that Colorado has on their roster, to hold them to 2 power play goals in the series on a team that has Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Cale Makar is very, very impressive. And that power play could have really made a difference for the Avalanche in a series that was this close. If they had just gotten a little bit more production out of that power play unit, this series could have gone a very different way. But they only have 2 power play goals in the series, and Seattle's moving on, and that, I do believe, played a big role why. As far as goaltending is concerned, both of these teams stuck with their starting guys all the way through, and deservingly so. Both starters had very strong series in net. Ultimately, for Seattle, Philip Grubauer was just a little bit better. 4-3 in the series with a .926 save percentage, a 2.44 goals against average, and 2.9 goals saved above expected. Grubauer was a monster for the Kraken in this series and a huge reason why they won. On the other side, Alexander Georgiev, not a bad series for him, just came up a little bit short. 3-4 with a .914 save percentage, 2.60 goals against average, and 1.7 goals saved above expected. Both goaltenders were very, very good in this series, but at the end of the day, Philip Grubauer was just a little bit better, and Seattle finds themselves moving on. Now for my 3 stars of the series. Third star, I had to go with an Avalanche player here, and that is Mikko Rantanen, forward for Colorado. He had the most goals of anyone in this series with 7, led the Avalanche in scoring. And really, Mikko Rantanen did all he could do in this series for Colorado. 7 goals, 3 assists, 10 points, a +4 rating, 27 shots on goal for Rantanen. He was their best player, and he was the best offensive player overall in this series. Like I said, he did everything he possibly could for Colorado. Great production from him. In the end, just didn't get enough help, just wasn't enough. But he individually had a spectacular series. My second star of the series is forward Yanni Gourde from the Seattle Kraken. He led the team in scoring. Only had 1 goal, but it was a game-winning goal. He added 5 assists in the series as well to have 6 points, which did lead Seattle, +4 rating. And Gord was a big-time emotional leader for this team as well. He was very physical, showed a lot of great leadership, played playoff-style hockey, what you need to win in the postseason. And obviously a guy that has won a Stanley Cup with Tampa Bay and is a proven winner and has had a lot of playoff experience. He was instrumental in Seattle winning this series and, led the team with 6 points, like I said, just offensive producer on a team that really, the offensive production for the Kraken was very spread out. A lot of guys with 1 or 2 goals. A lot of point production spread out between guys having, 2, 3, 4 points in the series. It's not like they really relied on one particular, line or one particular player to do all the scoring. It was very spread out for the Kraken. But Gord led the way points-wise, and he also led the way physically and in a leadership role with this team. But my number 1 star, ultimately, the goaltender, Philipp Grubauer. Absolutely incredible series for Grubauer. Wins the 4 games, .926 save percentage, one of the best in the league in these playoffs, 2.44 goals against average. And in such a low-scoring series that really was a goalie duel and a lot of close 1-goal games, Grubauer gets the job done just enough better than Georgiev, and Seattle moves on to get the win. And they would not be moving on without Philipp Grubauer playing as great as he did in this series. And it's awesome to see him step up. And this is what he was signed for. And really over the course of his first 2 years now in Seattle, regular seasons have been iffy. So he hasn't been great. Last year especially was brutal for Grubauer, and the Kraken struggled as a whole. Better this year in the regular season and spectacular now so far in the playoffs. So this is what Philipp Grubauer was signed for, and he was outstanding and really a big key piece to the Kraken moving on. So yet another major upset here in these playoffs as the Kraken take out the defending champs. And overall, again, very low-scoring series, very tight series that came down to the 7th game. And in the end, Seattle was just a little bit better, and they were able to get the job done and move on. They faced Dallas in round number 2. That is certainly going to be a tough series. Dallas has a great goaltender in their own right in Jake Ottinger. The Kraken are going to need Grubauer to continue to play at the level that he did in this series. And it's going to be a very hard-fought round number 2. But big-time congratulations to the Seattle Kraken on winning their first ever playoff series, knocking out the Avalanche, and moving on to the second round.